Haru, and welcome to a live stream here at StarShineOracle. In this reading, we're going to be doing Aries season for Gemini placements, okay? This is a generalized reading. It's not a personal reading, right? And it's not a your person reading. So there's no gender in tarot. Geez, I feel so out of practice. It's only been a couple days since I sat down to do a reading, and I just can't. So unfocused, right? And I was picking up on this before I even sat down to do the reading. Distractions, lots of distractions, okay? So yeah, no gender in tarot. Masculine and feminine energies are just energies expressed as receptive or directive, okay? Readings are timeless, okay? All advice and guidance is timeless. The indicated timelines are for astrological purposes only. I am breaking down these readings into 4-week segments. I do allow for a couple days in between at the beginning and the end for the cusper energy to clear. Okay, there goes Kitty. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started and jump into this. Oh, make sure you check out the description box below. Information about the decks that I use, how to get a personal reading, astrological aspects during this Aries season, etc., etc. You'll find all that good stuff in there. I've got a crystal guidance and a couple of songs for you as well. So, and I want to touch on that because that's what your title is really kind of based around, right? So, excuse me, one second. There we go. All right, I had to clear that out. So, like I said earlier, I haven't done readings for like 3 days now, right? And the title is all about processing, buffering, hold please, right? So when I finished my last reading, it was for Taurus, for Aries season, okay, Taurus placements. I got up and the very first thing I thought of was, okay, what do I want to do for Gemini's reading? And the first thing that came to mind is a song called 3 Special Steps, okay? And this song is from a kid's show called Special Agent Oso, links down in the description box. But really what this kind of like led me into this long-term kind of processing thing that I went through over the weekend was breaking down things into a much simpler process. Okay, that's going to be the main theme for the Aries season for Gemini placements. Okay. All right, so to get into week 1 for the general energy, we have the Hanging Man in the reverse, the 4 of Pentacles in the reverse, and the 6 of Cups in the reverse. You're starting to understand, this is a process. You're starting to understand that, you know, you're holding yourself back by not allowing your playful energy to come through. Okay, there's something here about somebody's opinion about how your childlike expression is coming through naturally for you. So it's like somebody's telling you that this is not healthy or this is not right for you. Yeah, there's some jumbled energy with that. You've really been kind of holding yourself back. This is like self-sabotage kind of energy. Yeah, that's interesting. Queen of Wands coming out underneath the Hanging Man in the reverse. You're looking at this past situation that's been affecting you. Pisces season could have been really rough. As far as Gemini placements are concerned, okay? But you needed to go through whatever tumultuous, energy. You had to go through that to be able to reassert yourself, okay? Yeah, Page of Wands at the bottom of the deck. You're definitely a little bit more curious about how to expand in this area. Let's go ahead and get a card for the 4 of Pentacles in the reverse. That's too much. There we go. Yeah, judgment call. Call to action. You know, you're understanding that there's a need to change this, but you're not sure how to change it. You're definitely analyzing your past experiences and trying to understand, you know, how all this adds up is what I'm hearing. Thank you. Yeah, 3 of Swords. Yeah, looking at how those past experiences has affected your thought process in a negative way. Yeah, and you're understanding that with the 2 of Swords in the reverse, that's led to your indecision. And one of the harsher aspects of Gemini zodiac expression is indecision, okay? That dualistic nature can sometimes provide too many options, too many what ifs, okay? And there can be, there's something about, I'm seeing like a tornado, right? Just kind of spinning and spinning, and tornadoes are really like unpredictable. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and take a peek at the feminine energy. Thank you. What do we have for feminine energy week 1 for Gemini placements for Aries season? The Empress in reverse. Okay. Whew. She's got a lot to say, that's for sure. Yeah. Got a lot to say, but nothing much to do at this point. Okay, so we have the Empress in the reverse, the Eight of Wands in the reverse, and the Queen of Pentacles. What this tells me is that there has been a rest period. There's definitely a lot of resting. Okay, Eight of Wands in the reverse is absolutely no movement. It's absolute, all quiet on the home front is what I'm hearing. The Empress in the reverse is also imbalanced within all of her Queen energy. And it's not just like all of the Queen energy is imbalanced. They're asking me to kind of clarify that. It's like if one of them, it becomes imbalanced. And the fact that we have the Queen of Pentacles out here, you know, this expression, this aspect of the Empress energy has been imbalanced. And that's what's been worked on during this rest period. Knight of Cups, Five of Wands in the reverse. Nine of Wands in the reverse. Yeah. Realizing there's no need for defensive energy if you're not actually going anywhere, right? You're not taking action, so you don't have to be defensive. There's something about the feminine energy feeling like a really strong need to protect herself. Yeah, so during this rest period, she's been very vulnerable, susceptible to attacks, is what I'm hearing. And that's almost like a self-inflicted wound, right? We were kind of talking about this self-sabotaging thing with the general energy. Okay. All right, so clarifying the Empress in the reverse is the Six of Swords in the reverse. Yeah, not really being able to kind of move on from this energy has been affecting the psychological aspect of how she receives herself, like how she perceives herself. Yeah, Eight of Wands is in the reverse is being clarified by the Seven of Swords. Like I'm getting silence, you know what I mean, with that card, which kind of tells me that she hasn't really been speaking out very much about how, not necessarily how, but okay, yeah, how, but what she's doing. It's almost like she's put this information out there, purposely not in whole, so that there is like a perceived idea, okay, but that is for self-protection. Okay, let's clarify the Queen of Pentacles. Two of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, she's not really okay, so this Queen of Pentacles energy that she's sort of been lacking in, it's all in her head, okay? And the reason why this is happening is because she's not in tune with her emotions. She's really kind of looking at the glass half empty when in reality it's just a cup, okay? What you pour into the cup is what is in the cup, right? You actually have to, the cup isn't going to fill itself up, right? And she's understanding that these external factors are really actually kind of plaguing her ability to see things for her, see the truth for herself, her truth for herself. Whew. Yeah, and then all that shuffling and the Knight of Cups is at the bottom of the deck all over again. Really kind of understanding that deeper appreciation for taking this rest period. Feminine energy, these for the Gemini placements lately has really been on the go, 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 okay? And I got a lot of that over the last few days, right? You know, so I got the download for the song, right? The 3 special steps, right? But when it came through, like, I couldn't really place where that song was from. And what I was originally hearing was 3 simple steps, right? Kind of clarifying, or not clarifying, but, you know, breaking things down, like taking a larger idea and then breaking it down into 3 smaller steps as like a goal. And then taking those 3 steps and breaking those 3 steps down into 3 achievable milestones, okay? Yeah, okay. All right, let's get one more card for the masculine energy for week 1. Okay. Well, I got 3 cards here, and I did ask for 3, right? So we'll check these out here in a minute. I feel like this is this energy is going to be effectual to this for sure, right? But it's like we need to look at what's underneath first before we get into the top portion. All right. And they're showing me like the chakra system, right? We usually think about the chakras, you know, starting at the root and moving up, right? So there's something about the root chakra here. Okay, so with the Celtic Dragon Tarot, there's no reverse meanings. I allow the cards to come out to indicate their importance, right? That's how strong that energy is, and all 3 of these cards came out in the reverse. We have the King of Pentacles, the Strength card, and the Nine of Wands, with the Queen of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So Gemini placements in their masculine energy, they've definitely been feeling confident in this past. Okay, yeah, this underlying energy is kind of like past leading up to what we're going to be talking about here. Okay, so definitely being confident about achieving milestones, achieving goals, right? But there's this overworking sort of energy. Wands in this deck are about the thought space, okay? Really kind of like okay, being really disciplined with how you spend your resources. And where I'm getting resources is like time is your most important resource. That's a personal belief of mine, right? You don't know how much time you have, and you can't have more of it, you can't make more of it, okay? So spending it wisely is super important, right? And being really kind of assertive, you know, there's something about setting boundaries here in that past energy of like, you know, I understand that I have to, you know, be disciplined with, sharing my ideas with other people. Okay. Yeah. So the 2 cards above here coming out is the Queen of Cups and the Page of Cups in the reverse. And again, it's that, you know, super important, like pay attention to me kind of energy. We have 4 cards that came out into the reverse. There's something about you trying to grab a hold of something or become like emotionally attached to something that wasn't really meant for you. It was like a lesson, okay? 2 of Cups in the reverse underneath the Queen of Wands, 6 of Wands and Temperance. Yeah. So it's like, again, really kind of understanding that, you know, when you hold these boundaries for when it comes to like sharing your ideas, like the emotional repercussions of it can, I mean, like if somebody steals your idea, right? It's yeah, they're showing me like a business partner who is like taking credit for the other person's idea, but like on the sly, right? That hurts, like, because there's a certain level of trust that you have to have in a business partnership, right? Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna get one more clarifying card. I really want to know what the Strength card is, yeah, indicating here. 5 of Cups, yeah. So really understanding again, you know, the repercussions, like how is this liquid? How is this emotional? They're showing me like, you know, a tidal wave. They're showing me like ripples across water. Like how is this affecting things later as that energy moves further away from me? It's almost like a butterfly effect kind of concept there. Okay, so that's what I have for week 1. I'm gonna go ahead and work our way into week 2. Work. I'm hearing that song from Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. When they go to work, that hi ho, it's off to work we go. Mm-hmm. There's something about methodical placement. That's what I keep hearing, methodical placement. where did it's like, where did I leave my keys? That's like one of my lifelong plagues, right? Where did I leave my keys? As long as I put my keys where they go on a regular basis, right? Like if I hang them up by my door, then I know they're always there. Something about energy conservation as well. They're showing me like somebody's like power bill or something like that. It doesn't look anything like my power bill, but it's got like numbers and figures, right? Like you used this much and this is how much it cost you. Could be work related, because I'm also seeing like the exchange of time for money, right? You donate your time 40 hours a week, right, for your 9-to-5 job, and in return they give you money, right? Something about fair exchange. Okay, there we go. Now we're ready to get into this. Okay. All right, week 2. What do we have for Gemini placements for Aries season? 2 of Cups, Ace of Pentacles in the reverse, and the High Priestess. See, didn't I say something about like, sharing your ideas? You're balancing this out, right? You're understanding that you've worked really hard for what you have. Yeah, I'm seeing the Ace of Pentacles, a pentagon within a pentagon. It's like the secret base within the secret base, right? And with looking at the ferret at the bottom of that card, it's kind of like, I don't know why I always call it like a ferret, because I always get fox energy. It looks kind of like a ferret, I guess. I don't know. But it's almost like it's not what it seems, right? Like this animal like is portraying that it's something, but in the reality it behaves like a different animal that's like unrelatable. There's something about like information that doesn't need to be shared at this point, because right now you're processing it. It's almost like the digestion. They're showing me like the digestion system, right? Yeah, Ace of Cups at the bottom of the deck. That's in the reverse as well. Yeah, you're like, all right, so I've got this information and I'm pretty sure I've got a handle on it, but I don't know how to I don't know how to externalize this in a way that somebody else is going to be able to perceive it the right way. The right way is what I'm hearing. Yeah, 8 of Wands in the reverse coming out underneath the 2 of Cups. There's hesitation because there's a fear of imbalance here. Like if they knew the truth, then they can use this truth against me or something like that. What's the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse? I'm hearing denial. Access denied. Why? 2 of Swords in the reverse, because you didn't make up your mind? No, what else? There's got to be something else with that. What is it? It's too much, but the Star in the reverse. Yeah, because you are allowing past experiences to affect this new process to begin, because yeah, you kept letting somebody else's opinion get in the way, and it caused a bunch of upheaval. Ooh, what we got flipped over here? Yeah, King of Pentacles in the reverse. Yep. It affected the stability of the outcome, right? It's like throwing a wrench in the gears. All right, so that's what we have for the general energy. Yeah, there's something about you needing to communicate the rest of the truth, I'm hearing, in week 2. Okay. Get the feminine energy for Aries season. Gemini places. Oh, the places we go. When I was a kid, I couldn't stand Dr. Seuss books. I didn't have an appreciation for Dr. Seuss until I had kids. Isn't that weird? The Lovers in the coming out as their first card. And I'm seeing like the difference between spring and fall. What's the difference between spring and fall? Is what I keep hearing over and over again. The amount of sunlight that comes through is what I'm hearing. So it's like where I live in the wintertime, like it's almost like the sun is like very white, okay? Like the light that it sheds is very white. It's kind of cold, right? But in the summertime, in the springtime, it's like a yellower color, right? And it's warm. It's kind of what I was getting from the Lover's card. We also have the Three of Wands and then the Ten of Cups in the reverse coming out. Ooh. Hang on. There we go. Okay, so yeah, this is some interesting energy. It's talking about the difference between the spring and the fall, okay? And it's like spring and fall, we're like waiting for that harsh energy to come. We're waiting for the harsh heat of summer. We're waiting for the harsh cold of winter, right? But as we're doing this waiting, we're not actually pursuing anything. We're not actually going anywhere. And what this does is it kind of like creates this sort of depression, right? This inner sadness or lack of appreciation because you're not pursuing anything. You're not actually getting anything done. You're just waiting. You're just constantly waiting. But this is a purposeful choice. And I'm hearing we gotta do something different. Okay. So let's clarify. Yeah, the Lovers. A lot of information once. It's like somebody was withholding all of this information, and it's all coming out all at once. Yeah. So when this feminine energy during week 2 makes the decision to kind of like cut this out, I feel like there's gonna be like this isolation kind of energy where either she doesn't want to participate in group activities or she will not be invited to, right? And yeah, Ten of Swords, like this waiting around for an invitation is never gonna come. And she's got to let that go. You got 2 tens in the reverse. That's delaying the end of a cycle, delaying the end of delaying progression in general. I don't know why I was saying the end of progression. I don't know. It's almost like maybe she's been at the tail end of this for a really long time and she just hasn't quite just sealed the deal on it. That's what I'm hearing. 7 of Swords. Yeah. And the Hanged Unicorn. Yeah. Yeah, not wanting to express herself. And honestly, this is actually going to be a good thing because in her expression at this time, it's going to be really raw. So that isolation energy that I was talking about is really her kind of just like processing. And I keep saying her and she and whatnot, right? But that's just the feminine energy that's being expressed through Gemini placements, okay? Again, where feminine energy is about receptivity, it's about nurturing, it's about the self-care, it's about, all of these, non-action verbs is what I'm hearing. That's interesting. Yeah, she's got to change her mind. But it's really gonna challenge things because there's competition about this, right? And what the competition says is like the exact opposite of what she's trying to accomplish. And that's really like the struggle that's being presented for week 2. All right, let's look at the masculine energy for Gemini placements. Masculine energy for Gemini placements. Week 2 of Aries season. A lot of heaviness, but I almost feel like a relief coming from that. Like as I was like holding my breath there for a second, and as I released it, I just felt this like breath of fresh air, this bit of relief. Yeah, there we go. Ace of Wands. There's a clarity in the thought space coming through. Ace of Cups in the reverse. A 5 of Cups. 3 of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, so there's a lot of like baby energy. Okay, that doesn't mean like somebody's having a baby. Could be, right? But it's the birth of something new. Again, we have creation energy. We have ideas coming through. A lot of, I'm hearing crown to throat chakra. It's like as soon as the information is hits the crown chakra, it goes straight to the throat. It's like yeah, it's like direct channeling, right? But in order to do that, you have to also be really balanced in the emotional sphere, that heart chakra. Okay. This has been a challenge for some time, but you're celebrating this week. Yeah, because you're moving away from needing to like rely on the stability of like some sort of like perceived foundation, right? It's like you're only a light worker if you are like this, and it's like that doesn't actually apply to me. It's kind of like you redefining labels, right? Okay. Okay. So, clarifying the Ace of Wands, we have the Knight of Cups. Yeah, so the key to manifesting something that we want is you have to actually dream about it. And it's interesting because I was listening to a podcast this morning over it's a YouTube channel, School of Greatness. What's that guy? Lewis House, right? He interviewed a guy and he said the most like profound thing ever. Right? He said the dream you don't speak out loud is the dream you'd be most proud of, or something like that. I can't remember the exact wording of it, but it's like, you have to dream first before you can speak about your dreams. And you have to love this. Okay, so what they're giving me is like, it's like the intention behind it. Okay, so when you actually love what you do, time passes without you even noticing, right? But you have to be willing to fight for the thing that you love, and that's how you can tell if somebody's intention is true or not, right? Like when things get hard, what happens? Do people disappear? Do they show up? Do they walk that talk that they had 6 months ago, or are they dancing to a different tune, right? Five of Cups is being clarified by the Six of Wands, and there's this acceptance of, other people are responsible for how they behave, right? Again, there's this thing about like somebody like stealing an idea, right? Like when I had my creation stolen from me, it hurt, right? But instead of lashing out, like I had to come to the realization that that person couldn't take my experience from me. They couldn't take that from me. And because my intention was different than their intention with that idea, it didn't come to fruition for them. It was like a big fat failure, right? It was almost like a slap in the face. And it's like, then that was kind of like thrown back to me as well. Then your idea wasn't good to begin with because it didn't work. Well, it didn't work because it wasn't applied the way that it was intended to. Okay. All right. So that's what we have for week 2. Doesn't want to go back in. All right. I need a drink. Keep hearing that silly little kid song, three special steps. 3 special steps. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. It's like super catchy. Almost like what was that song? From Lamb Chop, the song that never ends. Okay. Let me just get a quick shuffle in here. Oh, I want to clear out the energy. Yes. Something about spring cleaning that came up over the last few days too, right? So again, like I needed a few days to kind of process. Like I got the download of that song, right? And then I needed a few days to process, and I wound up doing some like spring cleaning, doing some yard work and stuff like that, right? It was really good because lately we haven't had a lot of sunshine. And I needed my vitamin D. Oh my goodness. I really, really don't like the winter time because, you know, I even like take like vitamins and supplements and stuff like that, but it's just not the same. I have to have sunshine in order to feel at my best, I guess. I can still operate without the sunshine, but you know, it's like the sunflowers. Like the sunflowers, they follow the sunshine. Yes, I resonate with a sunflower. I do. I love sunflowers, and sunflower seeds are really yummy too. I like sunflower seeds, not the shelled kind. No, I don't like the shells. All right, let's clear out the feminine energy. So yeah, I was doing yard work over the weekend, and so I've been recovering from, you know, some spinal injuries over the last like 9, almost, oh my goodness, 10 months now. So I haven't been able to do a lot, right? Like I can't lift more than like 10 pounds and all this, that, and the other, right? So doing yard work, it was interesting. I didn't get much done, and it took me a long time to do a very little amount, right? But I wound up getting blisters like on this part of my hand. Blisters. It's just one, but it hurts. Hearing it hurts. It's just one little blister, but it hurts so bad. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see what we got here. Week 3. Week 3 for Gemini placements. Aries season. 3 cards. 9 of Swords and the Fool. Ace of Swords in the reverse. Interesting. I want to say, you know, I know Mercury's in retrograde right now, and I'm not exactly sure of the timing of when it goes direct. But I feel like week 3 of Aries season, we're going to be nearing the end of Mercury retrograde, and that's really when all of this nonsense is going to come to the surface, is what I'm hearing. Somebody is really just like kind of throwing up their hands and being like, you know what? I don't care what people think. I don't care what people do. I don't care what people say. This is the truth. And I'm tired of, you know, holding back the truth. Yeah, because all it's done is really cause delay in my healing process. And I got to change that. If I don't change that, then I'm going to wind up staying stuck in this like victim mentality. 9 of Swords is somebody who can't sleep at night out of fear of the monsters under the bed. You know what I mean? But if you just look under the bed, you see that there's no monsters there. This is all, you know, a figment of your imagination. Man, 6 of Swords in the reverse again. And I say again because it's come out, right? Yeah. 5 of Pentacles, victim mentality. I can't do this. I can't make a decision. I can't change my mind. I can't give up on the idea of moving on from self-protection mode. This is causing a split between your logical mind and your spiritual mind, is what I'm hearing. Okay. And yeah, so Mercury governs the communication and the thought space, right? And what I'm hearing with that is like, you know, you really, it's like you need to talk to somebody about this. You gotta start changing this. And I'm hearing like, but I don't know what to do. What do I do? I've tried everything. Like if you look at this Fool card, in between his hands and this arc is every single zodiac sign, and he's like literally like, I've prayed to all the gods. Like what else am I supposed to do? And the advice is to walk away, to leave that old life behind, is what I'm hearing. Yeah, because you're not healing. You're, instead of focusing on improving yourself, you are cataloging like other people's flaws as your own. It's like some weird kind of projecting, like you absorbing some sort of projection, and all it does is cause you confusion and want you to be defensive. And when you're defensive, you can't actually tell the whole truth. So there's something about a breakdown here for Gemini placements during week 3 where, again, that 3 special steps, it's like taking that big idea and breaking it down a little bit, and then breaking it down a little bit further. But there's also something about documenting each little step, because that is where you're going to find the healing. Like when you go back and look at each little step that you took, that you cataloged is what I'm hearing again. Yeah, that's when the decisions start to come through. So we had the 2 of Swords coming out in the reverse for the first 2 weeks, and now it's coming out in the upright in the 3rd week. Okay, so that's you releasing that I can't. Yeah, I won't. I have to sit here and wait for that shoe to drop, right? Yeah, all that's going to do is keep delaying the inevitable, because you're not really taking charge of that situation. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the masculine, the feminine energy for week 3. Aries season, Gemini placements, week 3, feminine energy. We have the 7 of Cups. Four of Cups came out sideways. I don't know about this. One more card, please. 4 of Swords, yeah. 2 of Wands. Okay, perfect. All right, so 7 of Cups talks about options, and it's like weighing your options out, right? You're like, I'm not sure if I want this. I need to actually meditate on this for a second before I can actually make a decision to move in the right direction for me. I do, like she's saying, I do understand that I have to walk away from this idea that I had mastered a certain emotional response, because the reality is I haven't quite mastered it yet. Yeah, this is too much. Yeah, it's too much. Trying to connect too many dots is like really kind of drain the energy in the thought space. Ooh, shinies, but I like all these shinies. It's Gemini energy for you. I like Gemini energy. I'm not gonna lie, I'm biased. I'm a little biased. I like Gemini energy. 7 of Cups is being clarified by the Lovers in reverse and the Hermit underneath that in the reverse. Yeah, overthinking, overanalyzing has diluted the reality of the situation. You're not willing to really kind of put your heart out on the line this month, or this month. That could be a theme for the feminine energy for Aries season. Yeah, because again, it's that, self-protective mode that I was mentioning. I don't know, week 1, week 2, maybe? I can't remember. So what's this indecision? It's not even indecision. It's just like, I'm not sure I want to accept what's being offered. I see it coming towards me, but I'm feeling drained. Yeah. I'm tired of the party scene. I'm tired of the fast life. I'm tired of having to go. I need to meditate more, because I forgot who I was. I forgot who I was, and I started pretending to be somebody who I'm not. It's like as soon as somebody saw your progress, like you changed your expression. And what that did was cause confusion within you. Yeah, and you weren't sure how to really kind of go about this. That's crazy, because the Lovers came out in week 2 in the upright, and it came out in the reverse for week 3. So there's some kind of correlation, because I want to say it was in this first column too that the Lovers had come out. All right, so masculine energy, there we go. Queen of Cups in the reverse, 9 of Swords in the reverse, Five of Cups in the reverse. Judgment, Eight of Wands, Seven of Swords. All right, so in the masculine energy for Gemini placements during this third week, there is a lot of scattered energy because there's an imbalance in the emotional sphere. What once was vibrant is now in shadow. So it's almost kind of like the difference between like the tide pool of the ocean, where like the crabs and stuff live, right? It's shallow water versus like the deep ocean, right? The creatures in the deep ocean can't live in the shallow region and vice versa, right? They're two completely different environments. And the masculine energy cannot understand why one cannot fit in the other. There's a resistance in educating oneself on how these things actually work in life. It's almost like he's like trying to defy the rules, I don't know, to stand out or something like that, and all it did was cause problems. Let's clarify the Queen of Cups. Clarify the Queen of Cups, the Fool. Perfect. Yeah. So the Fool talks about a new beginning, and with the Queen of Cups, this clarifying the Queen of Cups, and this is like a repeat again. Like the Queen of Cups came out in week 2 in the same placement. Like, the Fool card, the number associated with the Fool card is 0. Okay, that is where 0 isn't even like a number. Like it's a placeholder, right? To indicate that something more is coming. Nothing has been really worked on in this emotional sphere because it's being protected. Okay, what about the Five of Cups? I want to clarify the Five of Cups. It's a hard pill to swallow is what I was getting. Yeah, Strength card. You gotta take your losses as gains. That's the problem is once you kind of like release this energy, you'll understand that whatever it was that was lost is your gain. Yeah, and you're becoming more curious about this. You don't really understand it, right? Nine of Swords is being clarified by the Six of Wands. Okay, Nine of Swords is the almost like burned out energy, like I'm exhausted because I've been doing all of this by myself. Or Six of Wands is learning how to access the transformative property of thought to like actually bringing it into manifestation. I say like you're supposed to understand what that meant because I didn't understand what it meant. And I don't know. Give me one more on that Six of Wands with the Nine of Swords. Just a little more information. Yeah, take action. Take action towards your dreams, and that's really again kind of like, so it's like taking that idea that you had, breaking it down into smaller pieces, and again like documenting it, like writing it down. There's something about when you write it down physically with your own hand. It makes it more concrete. It's almost like I'm picking up on somebody who is more of like a kinetic learner, like somebody who remembers things because they did it versus like receiving instruction via audio or visual means. And there's something about context too. Right. So as we transition into this 4th week, there's something about context. As we go through transitions, like the definitions of things are changing. Okay. That's what I'm getting from that energy. So it's like the difference between telling your mom that you love her versus telling your significant other that you love him or her, right? The way you love your mom shouldn't be in the same way that you love like your significant other, right? So there's something about contextual application as we transition from week 3 to week 4, where things are going to become, I mean, it'll be easier for us to communicate, is what I'm getting. Contextual differences. And again, I feel like Mercury retrograde is going to be ending sometime around the end of Aries season. I wish I could remember. One second. I don't know. I read a lot into the astrological information just to kind of give myself guidance through my own life. That's how I started this whole process of like tarot card readings and astrology and the blending of the two together. Like I started exploring Western astrology as a teenager as a means to understand myself, because, you know, with my sun placement, yeah, sure, some of those things apply, but there are a lot of things about my life, how things had gone in my childhood and things like that, that I was like, I don't feel like this zodiac placement really kind of resonates with every part of my life and my personality, right? So that's when I started digging deeper into, you know, the natal chart, and it was through that research that I learned about different aspects of my personality, why I do the things that I do, and it's very eye-opening, you know what I mean? I didn't have a whole lot of structure growing up, or rather I should say, like, the structure of my childhood. You see that masculine energy spit out all over the place. The structure of my childhood homes changed radically multiple times in a very short period of time. And it was like that sense of impermanence really kind of affected me a certain way, right? That's what they're, yeah, Queen of Pentacles. That's what they're giving me. All right, one more. Let's get there. All right. Moving on into week 4. Something about, yeah, you're learning how to take your time. Learning the importance of, you know, really just kind of taking things as they come. All right, week 4, 9 of Pentacles. 2 of Wands in the reverse. Just one, okay. 4 of Pentacles in the reverse again. A lot of repeat energy coming out for Gemini placements throughout the Aries season, which tells me that there's a aspect that we're not looking at through this Gemini lens that we're going to keep repeating, okay? Something about your Mercury placement too. Maybe because of the Mercury retrograde. So 9 of Pentacles talks about somebody who is well-meaning and like they can self-sufficient. Thank you. Somebody who is self-sufficient. They're not reliant on anyone, okay? But honestly, that self-reliance is kind of it's like a self-sabotage thing again that's coming out. It's like holding you back, okay? You're not actually able to move forward. You feel confident and you feel stable, but the reality is that you're not going anywhere, you're not achieving anything. Because again, there's like lack of movement. A lot of reverse wands energy type of theme this month for Gemini placements. Pining over the past and being sad. Remembering it's like you only remember the sad things, the bad things. And that's what's kept you from actually kind of integrating yourself within your community, is what I'm hearing. What's the Two of Wands in reverse? I'm hearing fear of judgment. What is this? Ace of Wands came out sideways and then upside down. Yeah, and Queen of Swords. You're afraid that you're going to be intimidating to somebody. But it's like you can't receive anything if you keep your hands to yourself. Like, how can you receive something if, you know, your hands are closed into your chest? You look at the difference between these two cards. This person is holding everything to their chest. They're not releasing this. They're not letting this go, right? Whereas this person is just like, I'm giving you all of this energy. There's like, it like behind the hands, it looks like there's like a sun, right? Whereas it's like the life force. And I feel like your life force is like, you almost feel like your soul is being drained, but it's because you've actually blocked everything out. You're not allowing your spirit guides to lead you, I'm hearing. Yeah. One more. Sorry. Why are you saying sorry? You don't need to say sorry. I'm hearing sorry. The best apology is change behavior, because then you don't have to apologize again. Yeah, the High Priestess. You need to release, and you need to let go of these secrets. You need to communicate very clearly what it is that you want to the universe. Again, that whole self-sabotaging thing, it's like you're telling the universe, I really want this, but then when you're given the opportunity to pursue it, you're not actually doing it. Because you're afraid, you're not balancing your masculine and feminine energies, and all it's doing is causing more delays. There's a call to action to, you know, make up your mind. One way or the other, you're going to be successful, okay? Even if you fail and you fall on your face, I'm hearing, even in that failure, you're going to be successful, okay? Feminine energy is very straight out and to the point. Yo. Yo. 10 of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, and 7 of Wands came out all together, okay? Feminine energy is very much integrated and processed, what I was just talking about, within the general energy for week 4. Because she realized she's had the advantage point, right? She spent some time healing. She spent some time resting. She spent some time really kind of contemplating things for a while and releasing these past experiences and not allowing them to color her future experiences by harnessing accountability and responsibility for her actions, right, in the present. And what that is going to do is that is actually going to create the stability that she's been searching for. Like, she's been actually working really hard on this for a while. She does have a vantage point here. Something to do with it's almost like an online communication, or some kind of like distant, it could be like astral even travel, right? Or astral communication. But there's something, yeah, like a download, right? An understanding, an appreciation of those things that hurt her in the past were actually there to guide her, to get her to understand how to make the decisions that are best for her. Let's clarify the 10 of Pentacles. What is the 10 of Pentacles for week 4 in the feminine energy of Aries season? The Wheel of Fortune. This is the karma. This is the karmic retribution of all, again, yeah, all that hard work. The time of waiting is over. And then there's the world, right? Yeah, 3 of Pentacles. You don't have to work so hard. It is time for her to actually start receiving. And this is all going to be happening like in bits and pieces. There it is. In bits and pieces throughout Aries season. Yeah. And yeah, thinking back to everything that I'm recalling, right, from week 2 and week 1 and week 3. Okay, maybe yeah, 3 special steps, right? Something about like the order of those steps is not important as long as you're taking the steps, right? Page of Pentacles is someone who is allowing life to control them instead of them taking control of their life. Okay. So Ace of Pentacles is being clarified by the Page of Pentacles in the reverse with the Death card at the bottom of the deck. And this is the change that she's been processing all month. And there's going to be this is going to come to fruition. Watch. I just know that this last card that I pull for the feminine energy, it's going to be confirmation. Watch. I'm hearing watch me. Yeah, the devil. Watch me. The Magician. Yep. Queen of Wands, Ace of Cups at the bottom of the deck. I am understanding that in order to come to that understanding of what my goals are, to actually work on them, I have to disallow other people's opinions to color my canvas, is what I'm hearing. Appreciating the fact that there are people who challenge her in her energy. Yeah, there we go. 3 of Wands, 10 of Wands, and the Sun. Yep. Understanding that the burdens were yes, lessons and, you know, hard to go through, but they have refined her through the experience. All right, masculine energy for week 4. Gemini placements during Aries season, week 4. 9 of Swords wanted to come out again. Knight of Wands showing its face again. That's all from week 3. All right, we have the 7 of Swords coming out. And it's all mixed up. It's all mixed up. It's too much. There we go. 2 more cards, please. The Magician. Four of Wands. This is the law of manifestation at like its most basic core, right? When we get an idea, before we actually start working on the idea, we have to refine it within ourselves before we can release it and share it with another person. You know, our ideas have come up a lot in the masculine energy for Gemini placements during the Aries season. What this tells me is that there's definitely a playful aspect into bringing this idea or ideas into fruition, right? But it's like the devil is in the details, okay? You're releasing this need of having to keep these details to yourself because you understand that there are some aspects to this idea that you are not actually like either educated or experienced in, right? But it's like you know someone who knows someone or something like this who can actually like do the heavy lifting for you, is what I'm hearing. Let's clarify the 7 of Swords. Yeah, Spirit has illuminated the fact that sometimes, you know, people, just because somebody asks you how you're doing doesn't mean they want to know how you're doing. It's almost like it's just a common courtesy. Yeah, Knight of Wands. There's a spotlight on this sort of secretive behavior. Yeah, an indication that you're doing the right thing by keeping this to yourself, okay? But it's like in the general energy, I was talking about releasing these secrets. I feel like the releasing of secrets was like the intentional wrong information. Like you were trying to distract a group of people or something like that with like the wrong information. I don't even want to say it was intentional either, because really what you're just trying to do was make sure that everything was going to go smoothly. But sometimes, you know, yeah, it's that whole like I've got to do it on my own, and you shouldn't have. You should have included somebody else in the process, because now you're too overwhelmed and you're actually kind of spinning your wheels. Yeah, the masculine energy needs to slow down on that giving and that push through type of mentality for week 4. Okay. All right, so that's what I have for Gemini placements. during Aries season. Aries season, yeah, in general. All right. I hope it helps. Stay well, stay blessed, and stay shiny. Until next time. Bye.